Hi, this is Majinone, and welcome to the Avengers and Spider-Man reviews. As you can see, we got a bunch of Avenger tiles and Spider-Man. Let's just get rid of Spider-Man out of the way first. Overall, I really enjoyed this issue. The thing is, this is like the reintroduction of Cloak and Dagger into the Ultimate Universe, and one thing I kind of liked was that they got away from the two runaway kids who got involved in the drug. I mean, what I mean by got involved, it's not like they actively hunted it out, but they were given bad drugs by some people, and then they turned into Cloak and Dagger. In this case, what we have is two very popular people, considering they were in the presidents of the student council of different schools. They go to prom, and then they get into an accident, and they go into a coma. As a result, Roxanne comes in, Roxanne, and basically starts experimenting on them to try to create their own Spider-Man. And so I thought it was a little bit more unique approach, and by unique I just mean it in the sense of it fit this universe better. And um, overall, I mean, I really enjoyed the issue. I think this is going to be one of those things, though, where some people are just going to go, oh, this isn't an important part of the story, but let's just get to the part where Spider-Man's no more, because that's more interesting. And you know what? You're absolutely right. The thing is, I mean, I love looking at um, Miles and then watching him try to figure out what he should and should not do. Give up Spider-Man, or become affected by all the deaths that he decides to give it up, or realize that you need to overcome that and become Spider-Man because of the lives you save. And so this overall I thought was a decent read overall, so I enjoyed it. Okay, Uncanny Avengers. Now, this one, I'm going to say this. The one part I really enjoyed about this book was this. At the very end, not the very end where we get to see the four horsemen of death. I didn't care about that part. And I'm like, really? But what I was more interested in is the interaction of what happens when they find out that Wolverine killed the Apocalypse Kid, and Thor finally admits his fault in the problem. And I think what this book really does illustrate is the rift of the team. Because granted, what Wolverine did was considered not a very Avengery thing to do, but it's interesting to see the sides and how they were drawn. Thor goes with Wolverine. Pretty much the X-Men go with Wolverine, and um, what's really also what Wolverine points out is Havok really isn't in charge. It's really Cap. But what Cap did was he put Havok up as the figurehead, so this way people will think that a mutant's leading the Avengers to help rally the people behind him. And there's nothing wrong with something like that, but the fact of how Cap just stands in front and is basically dictating things instead of letting Havok do it, kind of shows who's really wearing the pants in this team. Other than that, it's just pretty much filler in the sense that what we're doing is we're learning more about the Apocalypse Twins, their plans, them setting everything up, all that back stuff with them, and then also again it's demonstrating the rift between the fact with Rogue and Wanda. And I'll tell you this: Rogue is 130% correct on the matter. Wanda's issued those magic words of no more mutants, and I really don't care what people say in terms of within the teams, that Wanda was not normal in her right state of mind, and this is what she did, and she should just be forgiven, because granted, you can say the same thing. Well, what about uh, Cyclops? He was possessed by the Phoenix Force. Couldn't you argue the same thing? He was possessed by another entity, and this is what he did. And Wanda killed far more people than Scott and the Phoenix Force did, because for the most part, every positive thing that actually came out of that got retconned out at the end, changed. So, I'm wondering, it's like they need more of this in here. Now, they're eventually they could be walking that fine line of where it's going to get kind of annoying that they keep arguing but no resolution. But they really do need to get a resolution with this part here, because, like I said, the Avengers are really harboring a greater threat than what Wolverine did. But otherwise, other than that, I enjoyed it. Okay, the new Avengers. This is setting up the stage between the war between Namor and Black Panther, and it's not going to be a pretty battle, because you know what you're going to have is basically um, you have on the Black Panther side, you have forces that don't want the Queen, and they're doing what they can to basically um, usurp her throne. And once you have something like that going on, that's going to be a hard battle to win. Now, beyond that, what I really thought was good was you had this dinner meeting between Doctor Doom, Reed, and Doctor Strange, and Doom's like, "Hey, I know something's up. Why don't you better tell me what's going on?" And Richard just like, "Don't you ever talk to me about this subject again, or else." And it's very rare when you see Reed be that kind of very assertive to Doctor Doom. And also, they do explain how Reed is with his family lost in the multi-universe, and yet here. Apparently, he's teleporting back and forth. And I understand it's a very convenient thing to say, but that's the gist of what's going on. And they're really setting up something very, very bad in this book. So I'm I'm really looking forward. This is like one of those few books that every month I look forward to. And the sad thing is, this is like my favorite week of rotation, because there's so many Avenger books that come out, and I don't even know which one to read first. But this is definitely on like the top 3 that I read for sure. And we have the Avengers Infinity. Now, Hickman is basically moving the plot along, and he's building up what's to come with Infinity. And this is one of those things that it's a great build up, but unfortunately, if you're a new reader, you're just going to get lost. And because he's adding little things here and there, and then it's to the point now where if you're behind, you have no idea what's going on. And I think the way that this tale is building, it's going to be Infinity is just going to be phenomenal, because they're going to be hit on so many different fronts on this with extremely powerful villains, and I just honestly I cannot wait to see what's going to happen with this. Um, the what's in this situation here, if you remember, you had the impact sites, and what they're doing is some of the impact sites they're communicating, and when they start to communicate, it's disrupting all electronics in the world, and finally at the end, there's actually a communications accepted between 2 of the sites, and so now we're moving further along there. And AIM, being stupid, has actually awakened their little pod, and something bad is really going to come from that. But for the most part, this is just disaster relief, because they're just trying to put all the heroes are just trying to put out fires. But overall, though, while there's not a lot of action, I'm looking at the big picture, and how Hickman's laying his plans out, and all he's doing is he's just making me want to see the payoff even more. So for that, I'm definitely still on board. I definitely am enjoying it, and I cannot wait to get to see everything, because I can guarantee you the way Marvel is crafting their Avenger titles and crafting this Infinity story, this is the way you build up a story. They're doing it slowly, over time, through multiple issues, and when there is a significant leaps in that story, it it makes you just it draws you right in immediately. And I just can't wait to see the rest. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Like the Facebook link, and you guys probably want a code. I'll give. How about this? Since I've been a little bit lax uncodes. I'll give you guys 2 codes. Here's code number 1. And here's code number 2. And don't forget, I do the anime reviews on Crunchyroll. And that link below. Those are all free. And tell me what you guys think about the Age of Ultron number 10. Do you think it's Crisis-like? I think it's Crisis-like at the end. But anyways, that'll be it for today. So until next time.